You may think you're doing everything right for your health. You take your supplements on time, drink enough water, and maybe even exercise regularly. But what if I told you that one small mistake could be canceling out one of the most important vitamins your body needs? Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, is crucial for your bones, your immune system, and even your mood. Yet many people don't realize that taking it with certain foods can make it almost useless. Imagine swallowing your daily dose every morning, thinking you're protecting yourself from disease, only to find out months later that your levels haven't improved at all. The truth is, it's not always about how much vitamin D you take. It's about how your body absorbs it. And here's where things can go very wrong. You see, vitamin D is fat-soluble, which means it dissolves in fat and needs it to be absorbed properly. But that doesn't mean just any meal will do. Some foods and drinks can interfere with this process so much that your body barely gets any benefit. This is something most people, even those who are health conscious, never think about. They just pop the pill with breakfast or dinner and assume it's working. Unfortunately, that assumption could be costing them stronger bones, better immunity, and even mental clarity. And the worst part? Some of these foods are ones you probably think are healthy. You might even be pairing them with your supplements right now without realizing the harm. Here's the thing. When vitamin D isn't absorbed well, it doesn't just go to waste. Over time, low vitamin D levels can lead to weakened bones, more frequent colds or infections, muscle weakness, and even mood disorders like depression. In seniors, it can increase the risk of falls and fractures, which can be life-changing. That's why this isn't just a small nutrition tip. It's a vital piece of knowledge that could protect your health for years to come. The more you understand how vitamin D interacts with your food, the better choices you can make to ensure every dose counts. Now, before we get to the specific foods that are blocking your vitamin D, let's quickly understand why timing and pairing matter so much. Think of your body like a finely tuned machine. The supplements you take are like raw materials, but if they don't get processed and absorbed, they can't be turned into something useful. Your stomach and intestines are the factory, and certain foods act like either helpers or saboteurs in that factory. The wrong ones slow down the process, making it harder for your body to get the nutrients it needs. This is especially true for fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. They need certain conditions to be absorbed efficiently, and if those conditions aren't met, they pass right through your system unused. Here's where the mistake often happens. People take vitamin D with meals that seem healthy but are actually full of compounds that block its absorption. For example, some high-fiber foods can bind to fat in your digestive tract, taking the vitamin with them as they move through your system. Certain beverages can also interfere with how your body processes vitamin D, reducing its effectiveness. Even some so-called superfoods can unintentionally make your supplement far less potent. And while fiber and antioxidants are great in many ways, they aren't always the right match for your vitamin D pill. But don't worry, you don't have to give up these healthy foods altogether. The key is knowing when to eat them and when to keep them away from your supplement routine. This is the part most people miss. They focus on what to eat, but forget about the timing. For example, if you eat certain foods a few hours before or after your vitamin D dose, you may still get all the benefits without sacrificing your healthy diet. It's all about giving your body the best conditions to absorb what you're taking. Now, I know what you're thinking. If vitamin D is fat-soluble, shouldn't any fat in my meal help it work? Yes, that's true to a point. Healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, or nuts can improve absorption. But the problem starts when you combine vitamin D with foods that either block fat absorption or compete with it in your digestive system. These foods can prevent the vitamin from dissolving properly or slow down the process so much that your body only gets a small fraction of the dose. This is why simply adding your supplement to any random breakfast or dinner isn't enough. Think of it like watering a plant. If the soil is rich and healthy, the water soaks in and nourishes the roots. But if the soil is too compact or filled with the wrong substances, the water just runs off, leaving the plant thirsty. Your body works in a similar way with vitamins. The right environment allows absorption to happen smoothly, while the wrong one lets the nutrients slip away unused. Over time, that's the difference between a supplement that truly benefits you and one that's just an expensive habit. In the next part of this series, we're going to talk about the exact foods and drinks that could be making your vitamin D useless. And trust me, some of them will surprise you. They're not the obvious culprits. You'll also learn how to rearrange your meals and supplement timing so you get the maximum benefit from every dose. This is something that can improve your health in a very real way, especially if you've been struggling with low energy, frequent illnesses, or bone and muscle problems. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to make your vitamin D work harder for you. But before we move forward, remember this. Taking a supplement is only the first step. What you eat with it, and when, is what makes the difference between feeling the real effects and wondering why nothing has changed. Don't let a small, avoidable mistake undo all your efforts. Your health is too important for that. So, if you've ever wondered why your vitamin D levels aren't improving despite taking it regularly, stay with me. The answers are coming next, and they might change the way you take your supplements forever. Some people get discouraged when they hear about food interactions with vitamins. They start thinking it's too complicated or too hard to follow. But the truth is, once you know these simple principles, it becomes second nature. You start eating in a way that naturally supports your health. You stop guessing and start making smart choices, and the benefits are worth it. Imagine stronger bones, fewer aches, better mood, and a stronger immune system, all from getting your vitamin D to work as it should. It's not about taking more supplements. It's about taking them right. So let's make it practical. Suppose you take vitamin D in the morning. You want to make sure that meal is rich in healthy fats, but free from anything that blocks absorption. That means skip the processed sausage and greasy bacon. Instead, add a few slices of avocado, some scrambled eggs, or a spoon of nut butter on whole grain toast. If you like smoothies, blend spinach with almond milk, a bit of banana, and a teaspoon of flax seeds. This way you get fat for absorption, but no unwanted blockers. If you prefer taking your vitamin D later in the day, the same rule applies. Pair it with foods that help, not harm. For example, a baked salmon fillet with roasted vegetables and a drizzle of olive oil, or a handful of almonds with fresh fruit on the side. Avoid washing it down with coffee or tea at the same time. Give at least an hour gap. It might seem small, but it makes a big difference in how your body uses it. Another thing to remember is that vitamin D works hand in hand with other nutrients, like magnesium and vitamin K2. If you're low in these, your vitamin D might not be as effective, even if you take it perfectly. Foods like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and fermented foods can help cover these gaps. It's like giving your body the full team it needs to get the job done, rather than sending one player to do all the work. And if you're wondering about sunlight, yes, it's still the best natural source of vitamin D. But in many places, especially during winter, it's not enough. That's why supplements are so common. Just remember that your supplement is only as good as how well your body can absorb it. If you're blocking it with the wrong foods or drinks, you're wasting your effort. I know some people are set in their routines. Maybe you've been taking your vitamins with your morning coffee for years. Change can feel inconvenient. But think about it. Is it worth holding on to a habit that's silently reducing your health benefits? If adjusting your timing or meal composition could mean stronger bones, better mood, and fewer illnesses, isn't that worth a little effort? Your health in the years ahead depends on the choices you make now. Now, here's a little trick I've learned. If you have trouble remembering when to take your supplements, tie it to a daily habit. For example, take vitamin D right after you brush your teeth in the morning, but only after you've eaten a healthy, fat-rich breakfast. Or keep the supplement bottle near your lunch prep area so you see it when you make your midday meal. Consistency is everything. Missing doses occasionally isn't the end of the world, but regularity ensures steady levels in your body. Something else worth mentioning. Check the label of your vitamin D supplement. Some brands already include a bit of oil in the capsule for better absorption. That means you can take it without as much fat in your meal. But even then, pairing it with healthy fats is still a good habit. Also, look for vitamin D3 rather than D2, as it's more effective for raising and maintaining your levels. In the end, this isn't about fear or restriction. It's about empowerment. When you understand how your body works, you can make small, smart choices that add up to a big difference. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Just tweak the timing, the combinations, and the awareness. It's like finding the missing piece of a puzzle. Suddenly, everything clicks and your efforts pay off. So the next time you reach for your vitamin D, remember this. The capsule in your hand is potential, not magic. The real magic happens when you take it in a way your body can use. Avoid the foods and drinks that block it. Pair it with the ones that boost it, and give your body what it needs to thrive. In a year, you could be standing taller, feeling stronger, and smiling at the fact that such a simple change brought you here. Your health is your most valuable asset. Treat it with the care it deserves. And if this message helps even one person get more out of their vitamin D, then it's worth sharing. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with family, friends, or anyone who might be unknowingly reducing their vitamin's power. Sometimes the smallest piece of knowledge can have the biggest impact. Because at the end of the day, you don't just want to take vitamins, you want them to work. And now you know exactly how to make that happen. Now, here's the surprising thing. Many people assume that as long as you take vitamin D, your body will simply absorb it and use it. But the truth is, certain foods can block, reduce, or slow that absorption so much that you might as well be skipping your supplement entirely. This is where so many seniors unintentionally make a mistake. They take their morning vitamin D pill, but they wash it down with or follow it with something that stops the process in its tracks. The worst part is some of these foods are considered healthy in other ways, which makes it even more confusing. That's why understanding the interaction is key, especially after 60, when your body's ability to process nutrients naturally declines. For example, high-fiber foods are generally great for digestion and cholesterol, but if you take a large amount of fiber right alongside vitamin D, it can bind to the vitamin and reduce absorption. This means if you're having a fiber-rich breakfast, like bran cereal or a big smoothie packed with flax seeds, and you swallow your vitamin D capsule at the same time, you could be sabotaging the benefit. This doesn't mean you have to give up fiber. It just means you need to time it differently. Ideally, you want to take vitamin D with a meal that contains healthy fat, but not so much fiber that it traps the vitamin before your body can use it. Another hidden blocker is coffee. Yes, coffee itself doesn't directly destroy vitamin D, but caffeine in large amounts can interfere with calcium metabolism. And since vitamin D's job is to help your body absorb calcium, too much caffeine can undermine that entire process. If you're the kind of person who takes your vitamins right after your morning coffee, it might be worth rethinking your timing. Even spacing them out by an hour or two could make a big difference over time. And then there are certain processed foods high in phosphorus, like sodas and some packaged snacks. Phosphorus is a mineral you need in small amounts. But when you get too much, especially from artificial sources in processed food, it can throw off the balance between calcium and vitamin D in your body. This is especially important for seniors because bone density is already a concern, and overloading on phosphorus can accelerate calcium loss from bones. That's why drinking a can of cola with your vitamin D supplement is one of the worst possible combinations for bone health. But one of the most surprising vitamin D blockers is something many people add to their diet for heart health: plant sterols. These compounds, found in some margarine spreads and cholesterol-lowering products, work by blocking cholesterol absorption. That might sound good, but vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, and it uses the same pathways in your gut as cholesterol. So if you block cholesterol too aggressively at the same time you're taking vitamin D, you're also blocking the vitamin's entry. Again, timing is the key. You can still enjoy these foods, but avoid pairing them directly with your supplement. Now, here's where things get interesting. Fat is actually a friend to vitamin D absorption, but not all fats are equal. Studies show that pairing vitamin D with healthy fats, like those from avocados, olive oil, nuts, or fatty fish, can significantly increase how much your body takes in. This is why doctors often recommend taking vitamin D with your largest meal of the day. But here's the catch. Combining it with the wrong kind of fat can do the opposite. Trans fats, often found in fried fast food and certain baked goods, can interfere with vitamin D's function and contribute to inflammation, which further reduces your body's ability to use the vitamin effectively. Think of it like planting a seed. Vitamin D is the seed, your digestive system is the soil, and the fat in your meal is the water that helps it grow. But if the water is polluted with unhealthy fats, or the soil is full of blockers, that seed won't sprout into the benefits you're expecting. Stronger bones, better immunity, and improved mood. This is why seniors who are careful about their diet often get more from their supplements than those who don't pay attention to food combinations. Here's a real-life example. One woman I spoke with in her late 60s had been taking vitamin D for years, but still tested low every time she went for blood work. She couldn't understand it because she never missed a dose. When we looked at her routine, we found she always took her vitamin D with her morning oatmeal, which was loaded with fiber, nuts, seeds, and coffee on the side. Once she switched to taking it with a small lunch that included avocado toast and a boiled egg, her vitamin D levels went up within 3 months. Same supplement, different timing, totally different results. This shows us something important. The problem isn't always the supplement. It's the context in which you take it. You can spend money on the highest quality vitamin D, but if you take it with the wrong foods, you're throwing away a big part of its potential. That's why small tweaks to your routine can be more effective than just increasing your dosage. And remember, vitamin D works in partnership with other nutrients. Magnesium, for example, helps activate vitamin D so your body can actually use it. If you're low in magnesium, even perfect vitamin D absorption won't deliver the full benefit. On the flip side, too much zinc at the same time as vitamin D can cause a sort of competition in your digestive system, reducing absorption of both. This is another reason why taking all your supplements at once isn't always the best approach. Spreading them out can help each one work better. The bottom line is, your vitamin D routine isn't just about the vitamin itself. It's about timing, food choices, and avoiding blockers that quietly sabotage your efforts. Once you understand this, you can start building a habit that actually delivers the benefits you've been promised. And if you're thinking this sounds like a lot to manage, here's the good news. Once you learn the basic do's and don'ts, it becomes automatic. You won't have to think about it every time. You'll just know what works. But before we get to the exact timing and food combinations that make vitamin D work best, there's one more common mistake we need to talk about, and it's something even health-conscious people get wrong without realizing it. This mistake can make your vitamin D levels drop, even if you're taking it perfectly with food, and it has nothing to do with your diet.